just phenomenal presenter. And what he talked about, what's happening right now, is a birthquake. So, and we were in California, so a lot of people had experienced earthquakes before, but he was saying this is a birthquake. You know, things are shaky. They're shaken up. I mean, from the top down, from the bottom up. You know, everyone is feeling the shakiness happening, but the shakiness is actually occurring because there's a crack that's happening. There's an opening of energy for a new birth to actually emerge through the quakiness. And I just, you know, when I heard him say that word, it landed in my heart and it stuck. And anytime I get scared or anytime I start going, oh my gosh, you know, if I pay too much attention to the news, which I try not to do, I just think of what Reverend Michael Beckwith said. He said, this is a birthquake, and it is. We're breaking down so we can break through. We're being shaken up. You know, when you think of what it takes for a woman to birth a child, it's ugly, it's painful, you know, it could be excruciating, it's scary, but it's the most beautiful experience because of what comes out of it. And that's, I think we're all going through labor. We're all, you know, head down the birth canal, and we're going through labor, individually and collectively.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Christine, that for me, the birth of all of my 3 kids were beautiful, but I wasn't the one with the pain. It was easy for me.
Yeah, and I'll have to say that, you know, while I was planning a beautiful natural water birth in the comfort and safety of my own living room, I ended up having a cesarean with my daughter, and it was really, I mean, it was a challenge for me to let go of. So I don't, you know, I don't have first-hand experience of, you know, birthing her naturally as I had hoped. But even just that process of having a cesarean, it's like, okay, I have enough of an idea of what birth is like, and you know, it is. It's challenging, it's scary. You have to just completely let go and trust. And that's what we all need to do right now. Let go, yep. Trust, and mostly you've got to really trust yourself that you're going to make the right, you know, decisions from that highest place within you, and then you become a vibration for change.
Yeah, absolutely. You speak of tapping into the most important trend in business ever. Speak to that. What is the most important trend?
It is the integration of consciousness into business, the spirituality in business. I mean, when I read Patricia Aberdeen's book, which I mentioned earlier, Megatrends 2010, you know, she basically says that this trend of spirituality and how it's integrating business is massive. I mean, bigger than what we've seen going on with, you know, we thought the information age was huge. Well, what she is, you know, as a trends expert, what she's really showing is that it is this uprising of spirituality and its integration into every area of life, including business, that is, you know, the mega trend of our time. It is the mega trend that is shifting history as we live it. And, you know, for me, that's pretty exciting to think that we could actually live in the time where we can experience drastic change in the world around us in our lifetime. It's not going to take, you know, thousands or hundreds of years. I don't believe. Things right now are too accelerated, I think, for the change not to happen quickly as more and more people begin to wake up. So that's the biggest trend happening right now, is the uprising of spirituality.
I agree. I feel it every day. What is the biggest asset that people have in their business, and how do they use it?
I'm sorry, what was the first part of the question? You dropped out.
What is the biggest asset people have in their business, and how do you think they can use it?
Well, the greatest asset someone has in their business is the core essence of who they are. And I think what we see happening so often out there, at least in the entrepreneurial world, you know, that I sort of exist in, I see so many people who are going out there, trying to learn everything they can learn, zipping all over the country, this seminar, that seminar, oh, I learned this technology, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do video, I'm going to do internet, I'm going to do Twitter, I'm going to do Facebook, I'm going to, all these things, and they're sort of flittering around, and I know because I did that for a number of years before I just realized, wait a second, what I really need to do in my business is not search for anything outside of myself. I need to search inside of myself. So it's, people having to, as I talked about earlier, they have to begin to become responsible, not looking for this external pill, but reaching down deep inside their own heart, their own soul, their own truth, their own alignment with their purpose. And when they come from that place and really move forward from that place, not feeling like they need to do this or they have to do that or they saw someone else doing this thing so they need to do it. I think when people come back to that core strength of who they are, but that's not an easy journey. Because I think we get so wrapped up in looking at the models out there in the world, the business models, not the super models, but looking at the business models that we see out there. They're all based on bigger, more, competition. Every time I see an advertisement that says, trash your competition, who really wants to do that? Who really wants to just trash their competition? Not the spiritually awake and aware, evolving, entrepreneurs that I know. So I think that's the biggest challenge people face, is I think that their greatest asset is something outside of them rather than the core of what's within them. And that's a huge shift. It's like the shift from doing to being. And nothing could be more critical than that. It's